Today we're going to be talking about my arrangement of Holy, Holy, Holy and how to take something that's big and ambient and apply it to your context. The arrangement was written based on Revelation chapter 4, which describes heavenly worship. It's very open and ethereal, it's angelic, it's pure, and that can be challenging to pull off depending on your context. So what if you don't have the instruments to do that? Or how do you help your singer stay on tempo, especially in those opening verses where there's a lot of open space? What do you do if your piano player doesn't read music? Or what do you do if you don't even have a piano player? So we're going to talk about all four of those scenarios today. All right, so let's first talk about what to do if you don't have an electric guitar or synth pads that can create this ambience. I think it's important to note that because of the kind of hymn that Holy, Holy, Holy is, it's been around for many, many centuries. Most congregations probably can sing most, if not all, of these verses from memory a cappella. And so simply giving them the starting pitch could probably be all that they need. But let's talk about how do we support them in a way that's helpful if you don't have those ambient instruments. So on the music, you'll notice that we have pedaling instructions. And what we're doing right there is we're just trying to create something that's very melded together. And see, I'm not going to lift the pedal, I'm just going to keep it down. See, right there, that creates a kind of open cathedral kind of a feel. I didn't really clear it that time either, I just kind of kept it down. So right now you're just getting a bleed and blend of tones. So the piano can do a lot for you there, okay? And then if we want to talk a little bit about your singer, how do we help him or her stay on tempo with something that's this ambient or this open? Well, what we can do is we can just add a few little pulses. So right before they sing, and then they're off. Holy, holy, and then off they go, right? So you can just add little pulses to help them, keep that pedal down, keep it nice and ambient, and just use that technique all throughout verses 1 and 2. And when we get to verse 3, thankfully, the arrangement is starting to build and grow, and the piano is getting a lot more busy, okay? So we've got that section. And all I'm doing right here, and again, this is written in the music, is just making sure, keep the pedal down as long as you can until you absolutely have to change a chord, okay? Sing a B flat, F over B flat, and then back. Right. And again, if we're wanting to stay ambient, we don't want to be too percussive on these. Right, that would be really distracting, right? So we want to give the singer just enough. So I'm kind of thinking like a guitarist right there. I'm not hitting every single up and down, but I'm just hitting what's needed to help push them along. And then obviously the fourth verse is what it is. It's very big. So you can play that as if you are in a church that uses only traditional worship, very pomp and circumstance, very regal. Just make it as big as you possibly can, and that should do the trick. Some of you may be in a context where you have a piano player that only plays by ear. So how do we help them perform an arrangement like this? Well, what I would say is have them focus on the open fifths. That was another idea in creating this arrangement, is that if holiness is considered to be perfection, well, perfect fifths seem to make a lot of sense, right? So have them focus on those perfect fifths and even some seconds, and have them try and just emulate the rhythms that were used in the recording. So what you heard in the recording was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they don't have to play those exact notes. They can go. That's just an example. Another example might be, they can just mix it around. Something that helps set the tempo so that the singer feels confident and they know where to go. And when they're in the verse, and we're doing all the big jumps, if they don't want to do that or they're not quite able to do that, just again, trying to emulate what's being done in the recording. So you've got those 5 notes and then just something short. So that's emulating holy, holy, and then holy, right? So it's supporting the singer, supporting the congregation. It's giving something that they can go off of. And lastly, let's talk about what to do if you don't have a piano player on your team or if you're leading this from solo guitar. So we're going to keep the same rule as before, which is to emulate what you hear on the recording in terms of rhythms. So the beginning is very sparse. Just let it be sparse. Okay? All right, and that's not the whole intro, but that's the idea. And then when the singer starts to come in, holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. So see here, I'm not doing a full out strum yet. I'm just, that's, as close as I could get to what the piano was doing, right? Okay. And again, as we talked about at the beginning of the video, your congregation, once they hear those first words come out of your mouth, most likely they've heard this and they're going to sing out. All you got to do is just keep them on tempo. Holy, holy, right? Keep that moving. Then when you get to verse 3, we talked about that quiet energy that's building. Well, just add a little bit more, okay? Holy, holy, holy. And I'm just kind of staying on the bomb strings. That's, again, just to kind of keep it subterranean a little bit underneath. Lord God Almighty. Right. And then obviously when you get to the final verse, it's wide open. Now, depending on what chart you're reading from, some of them, I believe the lead sheet takes you into the A position. I'm not very good at A position, so what you can also do is that you can just use that second or third ending and just loop back around to the chords that are used in the first 3 verses if you don't want to change keys. So that fourth and final verse. If you're watching this video, chances are you've strummed a guitar like that before. That's what the 4th verse will be. And then when you finish the song, just like you ended it, or just like you started it, that is. If you found this content helpful, I invite you to visit my site, rickbarnesmusic.com, where you can find more video tutorials and a lot of sheet music. Thanks for watching.